Big Poppy in the house. I'm going to do something a little bit unnormal as far as videos that I've done in the past. Basically, I want to try to get a message out there, and this may take 2 or 3 videos to accomplish that. I want to address there's a lot of things that a reloader can do, or take advice from other folks that either do reload or they don't reload, but they always seem to go to different people's channels and give information, and in some cases that information is not correct. It could cause injury or death. And then I'll share a story with you about one reloader. So I got notes here and stuff, you know. Reloading do's and don'ts resulting in death or injury. There are a lot of good reloaders out there that post videos on a daily basis. I would like for everyone who reloads to question and give guidance on the few of the reloaders that are making bad decisions, and sharing that information with everyone out there who reloads. If you have been reloading for several years now, it's not hard to spot a beginner or someone that hasn't been trained correctly on the do's and don'ts of reloading. I want to take this time to caution reloaders. If you make mistakes with reloading, it could kill or injure you or your daughter, your son, your wife, your mom, grandkids, friends, or young children. Going forward, I would like for everyone who reloads to respond on videos and other people that shouldn't be following that process. So giving them advice, giving them recommendations. You don't have to be rude or anything about responding back to those folks that really need our help. I'm not saying to be rude or disrespectful to anyone. In the last 6 weeks, I have seen a lot of videos that are all wrong, and I have responded back on them with reasons why you shouldn't do something. If this keeps one person from being killed or injured, it's worth it. I know a lot of reloaders over the years that I've been reloading, and unfortunately about 4 weeks ago, I'll share an incident that happened. He's a good reloader, and there's no point of giving names or anything out there. He already feels bad enough about it. He reloaded on a Saturday, and he had his firearm as a pistol, and he had it out there when he was reloading. He took the magazine out of the gun, emptied the magazine, emptied the chamber out of the pistol, reloaded for a few hours. On his bench, he has a toolbox that's got 3 drawers in it, and that particular night he took the firearm pistol and put it in one drawer of the toolbox, and he put the magazine in the toolbox with it, and both of them were unloaded. He has a 10-year-old son that he's been spending time with him, just now starting to shoot with him, and so on the following week, the kids are not back in school yet. The 10-year-old had one of his friends come over to the house. The gentleman's reloading room is in his garage, and he had his 12-year-old friend over. So the 10-year-old boy and his friend was 12. Both of them is curious. They got into the toolbox, took out the pistol, the magazine. The 10-year-old he's seen his father reload it several different times. So the 2 boys went, reloaded the magazine, and the 12-year-old racked the pistol back, putting a round in the chamber. The 12-year-old pointed the pistol to the 10-year-old and pulled the trigger and shot the 10-year-old, and the 10-year-old passed away. this could have been avoided. You know, as reloaders, and there's a lot of reloaders, we have a lot of passion for our sport. We love to reload, we love to shoot, we love to hunt, we love to have championship people that shoot in championship rounds. But we have to go that extra step to take care of young children especially. So unfortunately, the ending of this story is it could have been put up, locked, even a locking device put on the pistol. Young kids are always curious, and things are like this are going to continue to happen unless we as a group enforce doing the right things on reloading, doing the right things as far as keeping our firearms out of the reach of young people. You know, the father lost his 10-year-old son. The 12-year-old is devastated that he lost his friend. And it's a hard time for that family and what they're going through right now. So when we see things that people are doing out on YouTube, you know, leaving their firearms out on their benches and in the areas where they reload, because, you know, even if the gun was unloaded, the magazine was unloaded, so if they would have even put the firearm somewhere else opposed to leaving it out there where he actually the night before, all his rounds that he was reloading for that particular pistol was left out there with the gun, and the toolbox with the gun in it was not locked. So those are a couple things I wanted to touch base on. And other things that we make decisions on, we need to make sure that we're making the right decisions. And I'm going to go through a list of a lot of things. I'm not an expert when it comes to reloading, but I would say probably everything that I'd like to touch base on these few videos. I do feel that I'm an expert in knowing what is right and what is wrong, and I think that I do know what it takes for all people to live and not to be injured or killed by minor mistakes that we make. Think about this for a minute. When we reload, we are assuming that when we take that box of ammo out to the range, we take it out, and it's the very first time that we want to take our young kids and we want them just to start learning how to shoot a firearm. Sometimes we take our wives out, our brothers, our sisters, our uncles. There's different events that happen that we try to teach, or we go out to have fun and follow the guidelines of shooting our firearms. There's some things that impair each and every one of us from being able to make those happy times happen, and it only takes one incident for something to go wrong. So for an example, some of the things that I've seen on YouTube and internet for some time now is, you know, there's one video out there that talks about how easy it is to reload on a Dillon press. I would guess that this child is maybe 7 to 8 years old, and if you look at the video, the kid's climbing up on the bench, all around the bench, down on the floor, up on the floor, and most of the information in that video was, you don't have to be very old to be able to pull the handle back and make a round. It's that easy that we can actually make ammo. My young son here can actually make bullets as well. Well, yeah, they can, and they can probably pull the handle back, but is that really the right thing to do? So my question is, I don't know exactly what the right age should be, but I would guess that 7 years old is not old enough. You know, I'm not making the video to criticize anybody, but I am making the video to educate and help other new reloaders. Reloaders have been making rounds for a long time, and also those folks that don't reload at all, but they seem to want to make comments about our videos, and that's a good thing, because we want the forum to be educational. We want to learn from other people that have more knowledge. But for an example, you should never ever drink alcohol when reloading. For an example, you had a bad day at work, you come home and you start drinking a beer, and a couple hours into it, now you're at your third or fourth beer. You need to be conscious and aware of every single round that you make is a good round. Because, like I said at the very beginning of the video, later down the road, what if it's time for you to take your son out, your girlfriend, your wife, a relative, a friend, and on the night that you was drinking, you forgot to make sure that there was powder in that round, and now, guess what? Now we're subject to, could we cause someone to be injured from a firearm? Could it kill somebody in a firearm? And you want to live with that conscience that, so for an example, a squid in your barrel, it didn't have powder in it, and now when they went to shoot the second round, the gun blows up. If you don't take that serious enough, go out there on YouTube, and there is exactly what I'm talking about. There is a YouTube video out there that you see an individual actually pull the trigger and the gun blows apart. And it's a Smith & Wesson, I think it was a MP 40 cal. The gun totally blows apart, and if you look at it, you can tell that there's been injury to the hand. I believe they may have lost 2 fingers. Are you willing to live with that and to go ahead and continue to drink while you reload? I'm sorry, but if you could save one person from being injured or death, it's worth it. Please don't drink and reload. Okay, another thing is, there's a lot of people that when they make their videos and that, they're watching TV when they're reloading. So I just asked the question is there a chance that you can get more involved into that, watching that TV, and lose focus on the most important thing is when you're actually reloading and making sure the powder is in there correctly? Are you reloading to make sure that the overall length is correct? Are you checking that? I think that sometimes when you have multi things that are going on at the same time, it distracts you, and again, we don't want anything to happen to you or any of your family members, and you know, those kind of things can be preventive. So another thing, cell phones. Me personally, when I come out to reload, I shut my cell phone off. I don't want that phone going off. I'm talking on the phone, I'm trying to reload, or I break away and start talking on my cell phone to come back later, and maybe I would make a mistake on where I left off. So that's why I turn my cell phone off. You know, we're real good about unloading our firearms, taking the magazine out, taking the round out of the chamber. But one thing that we need to be really cautious about is don't leave your firearms laying around in your reloading room and where you reload. Please put them up, put a lock on them, separate the ammo from where your pistol is, because again, like I started in the beginning of this video, young children are always curious, and if they see a firearm and they've got ammo and bullets out there, they're gonna figure out how to put the bullets in that gun, in that magazine. And in a lot of cases, we teach them how to do that. So we need to take the firearm away from them, so we don't lose a child or someone in your family. Another one, I've seen this on the web a couple different times. We talk about never mix your powders. Hold on a second. This is tea, by the way, that I'm drinking. Never mix your powders. I always stress, go buy the books, the reloading recipes, and you will live. I've seen a person respond on an email or on a YouTube video a while back, and I don't know if that person knows how to reload or not, but an individual ran out of bullseye powder. So the new reloader asked, does it matter if I use unique powder on the rest of my rounds or mixing it together? An individual responded on the video that it doesn't matter. It does matter. That's why we have so many different types of powders. Different powders for different loads, different calibers, different pressures in your cases. So the person said, yeah, you could use that, mix those two together, because long as the round on the grains that you're matching, if you look at bullseye and it says 5 grains, and you're looking at unique and it says 5 grains, you can mix it. You cannot mix it. That is a bad decision. And especially mixing two powders. Powders are different, and they're different for different reasons. They're different for different calibers. You know, they're different. For an example, if you shoot a rifle round versus a pistol round. Pistol rounds, what are you talking? 25 to 30 yards shooting on a daily basis. Then you take a 308 and above, and you're shooting 300 plus yards. Or you're trying to bring down a moose or a bear. There is a difference. Please do not mix your powders. Oh, here's a real good one. Someone said it is okay to take small rifle primers and use them in pistol, small rifle, small pistol primers, and you could use them for 223, and you could use them for 9mm rounds. That is a mistake. The reason for different primers has a lot to do with the same thing I said about powders. They have a different function, a different purpose, and they're different. That's why if you look in the book, it says for small primers for handguns, it's spelled out. When you have a large primer for handguns, it is spelled out. When you use a small rifle primer, it is spelled out for what rifles to use that on. There is a recipe to use large primers for rifle. There's a reason for that. Believe it or not, in the last 8 weeks, an individual took and put 223 small primers into a 9mm case round. I don't know how many that it was total, but it looked like there's quite a few on the table to me. Not sure of the end results, if they had any issues out there. So with this said, the other thing that I've seen is another person recommending that you can use maximum primers out there in the different rounds and different calibers. Now that is specifically spelled out when you use maximum primers. So what I'm saying is, go by the recipe, go by the books, and what primers are required in different rounds and calibers. That's the only ones that you should be using those primers in. Don't venture out there to try to do something totally different because